Ladies and gentlemen, letting go is strength, not weakness. It is one of the most powerful acts a person can commit, a declaration of self-worth and courage in the face of fear. Too often the world teaches that holding on is a virtue, that endurance is proof of resilience, and that to walk away is to admit defeat. But real strength is not in the grip, it is in the release. Strength is knowing when to unclench your fists, when to stop fighting battles that no longer serve you, and when to step away from what hinders your growth. There is an invisible weight that comes with refusing to let go. It clings to the mind and heart, a constant reminder of what once was or what could have been. This weight takes many forms: a toxic relationship, a job that drains the soul, a past mistake that lingers, or an expectation that no longer aligns with reality. The longer it is carried, the heavier it becomes. The world may whisper that strength is in endurance, that persistence is the path to success. But true strength is found in recognizing when something no longer belongs and having the courage to release it. Letting go does not mean giving up, it means choosing freedom. It is the moment of clarity when one realizes that clinging to something out of fear, guilt, or habit is far more damaging than walking away. There is no weakness in acknowledging that something has run its course. It takes extraordinary bravery to step into the unknown, to embrace uncertainty, and to trust that what lies ahead is better than what is left behind. It is easy to hold on, to stay within the confines of the familiar, even when it stifles growth. But strength is found in choosing expansion over limitation, even when it is difficult. The mind often resists change because it craves security. The heart, too, hesitates because it is wired to seek connection, to find meaning in what has already been built. Yet not everything that feels safe is good, and not everything familiar is meant to last forever. Strength is the ability to challenge this instinct, to recognize when something no longer nurtures the soul, and to let it go with grace. It is not a sign of failure to release something that once mattered. Rather, it is an affirmation of self-worth, a testament to the belief that one deserves more. Fear often accompanies the act of letting go: the fear of loss, the fear of regret, the fear of the unknown. But fear is not a reason to stay stuck. The strongest people do not let fear dictate their choices. They use it as a signal that transformation is near. They trust that in releasing what no longer serves them, they are making room for something greater. They understand that growth cannot happen while holding on to the past, that new beginnings require open hands and an open heart. There is profound beauty in the act of release. It is a rebirth, a shedding of old layers to reveal the truth underneath. It is the moment when burdens dissolve, when the spirit feels light again, and when the path forward becomes clear. There is power in trusting that what is meant to stay will stay, and what is meant to leave will leave. Strength is knowing that nothing truly valuable is ever lost, only transformed. Letting go does not erase the past, nor does it diminish its significance. It honors what was while making space for what will be. It allows wisdom to emerge from experience, turning pain into lessons and endings into new opportunities. The strongest people do not dwell in the past or chain themselves to situations that drain their spirit. They stand tall, knowing that their power lies in their ability to move forward unburdened and unafraid. Strength is not found in how tightly one holds on, but in how bravely one lets go. It is in the choice to embrace change, to trust the journey, and to believe that better things await. It is in the quiet moment of surrender, when the weight lifts and the heart finally understands that freedom is not in grasping, but in releasing. Growth requires discomfort. It is a truth that cannot be avoided. It is one that so many resist. There is a natural tendency to seek ease, to stay within the warmth of the familiar, to avoid struggle whenever possible. But real growth, the kind that transforms, elevates, and empowers, does not happen in places of comfort. It happens in the moments of uncertainty, in the face of challenge, and in the depths of discomfort. It is forged in the fire of adversity, in a willingness to step beyond the known and embrace the unknown. Discomfort is not an enemy, it is a teacher. It pushes, stretches, and shapes, revealing strengths that would have otherwise remained hidden. It is easy to believe that struggle is a sign of failure, that difficulty means something is going wrong. But struggle is not the enemy of progress, it is the catalyst. The strongest, most resilient people are not those who have avoided hardship, but those who have faced it, endured it, and emerged stronger because of it. Every challenge carries within it an opportunity for transformation, a chance to rise above limitations and step into greater potential. The world is constantly changing, evolving, and growing. Nature itself provides the most profound example of this truth. Trees do not resist the changing of the seasons. They adapt, shedding old leaves to make way for new life. Rivers do not fight against the rocks in their path. They carve through them, reshaping the landscape over time. Growth is the natural order of life, but it is never without resistance. The same is true for personal growth. It requires the willingness to endure discomfort, to embrace uncertainty, and to trust that every difficulty serves a purpose. Fear often arises in moments of discomfort. It whispers doubts, urging retreat back into what is safe and predictable. But fear is not a reason to stop. It is a sign that something important lies ahead. The most powerful breakthroughs come after the greatest struggles. The moments that test the limits of endurance are the ones that reveal true strength. Those who push forward despite fear, despite hardship, despite discomfort, are the ones who achieve the extraordinary. It is tempting to wait for the perfect moment, to postpone change until the path is clear and the risk is gone. But growth does not wait. It does not arrive wrapped in certainty or ease. It demands a leap of faith, a willingness to take the next step, even when the destination is unknown. The discomfort of change is temporary, but the rewards of growth last a lifetime. The pain of struggle fades, but the lessons remain, shaping a stronger, wiser, and more resilient version of the self. There is no success without challenge, no transformation without struggle. Every great achievement is born from moments of discomfort. The first attempt at something new is always the hardest. The first step outside of the comfort zone feels impossible. But with each step forward, what once felt unfamiliar becomes second nature. The discomfort that once seemed overwhelming becomes a distant memory, replaced by confidence, strength, and the undeniable realization that growth was always worth the struggle. The moments of greatest discomfort often lead to the greatest breakthroughs. It is in these moments that courage is tested, resilience is built, and character is strengthened. The choice to face discomfort head-on, to see it as a necessary part of growth rather than an obstacle to avoid, is what separates those who merely exist from those who truly thrive. The greatest achievements, the most meaningful transformations, and the deepest self-discoveries all come from the willingness to embrace discomfort and push through it. The path to growth is not always easy, but it is always worth it. The struggles, the setbacks, the moments of doubt, all of them serve a purpose. They prepare, they refine, they strengthen. Discomfort is not a barrier, it is a bridge. It is the passageway to something greater, something richer, something far beyond what was once thought possible. Growth is waiting on the other side of discomfort, and those who dare to embrace it will find that they are capable of more than they ever imagined. Courage is acting despite fear. It is not the absence of fear, nor is it the ability to silence uncertainty completely. True courage is choosing to move forward even when the voice of doubt is loud, even when the outcome is uncertain, even when every instinct urges retreat. Fear is a natural response to the unknown, but it is not meant to be a prison. It is meant to be a threshold, a test, a doorway to something greater. Those who achieve, those who rise, those who change the world are not fearless, they are simply unwilling to let fear decide their fate. Fear thrives in hesitation, in overthinking, in the belief that everything must be perfect before taking action. It whispers endless what-ifs, painting pictures of failure, rejection, and disappointment. But what if success is just beyond that hesitation? What if courage is the only thing standing between staying the same and becoming something more? Every great moment, every leap forward, every breakthrough begins with the decision to act despite fear. Fear may exist, but it does not have to lead. There will never be a perfect time. The conditions will never be completely right. The path will never be entirely clear. Waiting for fear to disappear is waiting for a moment that will never come. The strongest people are not those who never feel afraid, but those who move forward anyway. They understand that fear is only as powerful as the permission it is given. The choice is always there, to be ruled by fear or to be fueled by it. Courage does not always come in grand gestures. It is often found in the quiet decisions, in the small steps taken when no one is watching. It is found in the willingness to try, to speak up, to take risks, to stand alone if necessary. It is in the refusal to shrink, to conform, to allow fear to dictate what is possible. Each act of courage builds upon the last, strengthening the resolve, proving again and again that fear is not an unbreakable barrier, it is only an illusion, a shadow that fades in the presence of action. The mind often magnifies fear, making it seem larger than it truly is. But action shrinks fear. The moment a step is taken, the fear that once seemed overwhelming begins to lose its grip. Courage is not a one-time choice. It is a practice, a habit, a commitment to facing fear head-on rather than allowing it to dictate the future. It is found in persistence, in resilience, in the determination to keep moving even when fear tries to pull everything backward. The truth is, fear will always exist. It will always be present in moments of change, of growth, of stepping into the unknown. But it does not have to be the enemy. It can be a signpost, a reminder that something meaningful is on the other side. Fear only arises when something important is at stake. It signals a chance for transformation, a moment where life is inviting a step forward. Courage is recognizing that and choosing to walk through fear rather than around it. Strength is built in those moments of action. Confidence is not something given, it is something earned through every act of bravery, no matter how small. The more often fear is faced, the weaker it becomes. The more often courage is chosen, the more natural it feels. What once seemed impossible becomes achievable. What once felt terrifying becomes just another step forward. The act of choosing courage again and again creates a life that is not limited by fear, but defined by strength. The world belongs to those who dare, not those who wait, not those who let fear paralyze them, but those who step forward despite the trembling hands, the racing heart, the uncertain path ahead. It belongs to those who understand that fear is temporary, but regret is permanent. It belongs to those who know that every moment of hesitation is a moment lost, that every opportunity to act despite fear is an opportunity to grow. It belongs to those who refuse to be held back, who refuse to let fear win, who choose to move forward no matter what. There will always be reasons to wait, to turn back, to stay where it is safe, but courage does not wait for permission. It does not wait for certainty. It does not wait for the fear to fade. Courage is action, movement, persistence. It is the unwavering belief that fear may be present, but it does not have the final say. Resilience comes from trusting yourself. It is not something that is given, nor is it something that appears in the absence of struggle. Resilience is built, forged in moments of doubt, strengthened through adversity, and reinforced each time a challenge is faced and overcome. At its core, resilience is the unwavering belief that no matter what happens, no matter how many obstacles arise, there is always a way forward. It is the trust that no challenge is greater than the ability to rise above it. There will be times when everything feels uncertain. Life does not follow a predictable path, and setbacks are inevitable. Plans will unravel, expectations will be unmet, and moments of hardship will test the very foundation of inner strength. But resilience is not about avoiding difficulty, it is about facing it head-on, knowing that the power to endure, adapt, and overcome already exists within. Trusting oneself means refusing to let failure define the future, refusing to let fear dictate decisions, and refusing to believe that temporary struggle is permanent defeat. Every difficulty carries a lesson. Every setback offers an opportunity to grow stronger. When trust in oneself is unshakable, failures become stepping stones, not roadblocks. Resilience does not mean never falling, it means always getting back up. It means recognizing that challenges are not proof of weakness, but proof of effort, proof of movement, proof of progress. Strength is not measured by how easy the path is, but by how many times the decision is made to keep going despite the difficulties along the way. There is immense power in self-trust. It creates an unbreakable foundation, one that cannot be shaken by external forces. When trust in oneself is strong, doubts lose their power, and outside opinions no longer hold control. No one else can define what is possible. No one else can determine how far resilience can stretch. The moment self-trust is fully embraced, the limits that once seemed unbreakable begin to fade, replaced by a deep understanding that anything is possible with the right mindset. Fear often tries to break resilience, whispering that failure is too great a risk, that uncertainty is too dangerous, that the path ahead is too unpredictable. But fear is a liar, a voice that grows weaker each time trust is chosen instead. The more often trust is placed in personal strength, the more fear loses its grip. Confidence grows, courage deepens, and resilience becomes second nature. The mind learns that survival is always possible, that every storm passes, that every struggle eventually gives way to something greater. Trusting oneself does not mean always having the answers. It does not mean never feeling doubt. It means knowing that even in moments of uncertainty, the ability to figure it out exists. It means believing that no matter what happens, solutions can be found, adjustments can be made, and progress can continue. Resilience is not about perfection, it is about persistence. It is about knowing that setbacks do not mean stopping, that failures do not mean finality, that obstacles do not mean impossibility. Life will always present challenges, but resilience is the key to moving through them without losing hope. The strongest people are not those who never face difficulty, but those who refuse to let difficulty defeat them. They trust in their own strength, in their own ability to adapt, in their own capacity to keep moving forward no matter what. They understand that resilience is not about avoiding hardship, it is about using every hardship as fuel for growth. There is nothing more powerful than the belief that no matter what happens, the ability to rise remains. Resilience is not found in avoiding the storm, but in knowing that no storm lasts forever. Trust in oneself is the anchor that keeps everything steady, the force that pushes forward when everything else tries to pull backward. Every challenge, every setback, every obstacle is another opportunity to prove that resilience is stronger than anything that stands in the way. The only limit is the one that is believed in, and when self-trust is unshakable, there are no limits at all. Self-love means choosing yourself. It is not selfish, nor is it an act of arrogance. It is the foundation of strength, the quiet decision to honor personal worth, and the unwavering commitment to treating oneself with the same care and respect that is so often given to others. It is the realization that no one else is responsible for filling an empty cup, that waiting for external validation is a path to disappointment, and that the most powerful love is the one cultivated from within. Choosing yourself means recognizing that worth is not determined by approval status or the expectations placed by the world. It means stepping away from situations, relationships, and environments that demand self-sacrifice at the expense of well-being. It means no longer shrinking to fit spaces that were never meant to hold the full depth of who you are. It is standing tall even when others do not understand, even when doubt creeps in, even when the road ahead is uncertain. It is knowing deep within that no dream, no goal, no vision is too much to ask for, because self-worth is not up for negotiation. There will always be voices, both external and internal, that try to convince you that choosing yourself is wrong. They will say that putting your needs first is selfish, that prioritizing personal growth is unnecessary, that setting boundaries is unfair. But those who thrive, those who grow, those who lead lives of fulfillment and purpose are the ones who have learned that self-love is not a luxury, it is a necessity. It is the root of confidence, the source of strength, and the key to building a life that is not dictated by fear, guilt, or the expectations of others. Choosing yourself does not mean disregarding others. It does not mean abandoning responsibilities or refusing to care. It simply means recognizing that the best version of yourself, the one that can truly give, inspire, create, and lead, can only exist when self-respect is non-negotiable. Love cannot be poured from an empty vessel. Energy cannot be given when every reserve has been drained. Choosing yourself means making decisions that honor well-being, protect inner peace, and align with personal truth. There will be moments of doubt, moments where the temptation to settle, to accept less, to put others first at the cost of personal happiness will feel overwhelming. But strength is found in resisting that pull, in standing firm even when the easy choice is to compromise. It is found in the realization that self-sacrifice is not a prerequisite for love, that suffering is not a measure of worthiness, and that happiness does not need to be earned through hardship. Choosing yourself means breaking free from the idea that love, success, or acceptance must come at the cost of personal identity. Growth cannot happen in a place where self-worth is constantly questioned. Dreams cannot be realized in an environment where self-respect is repeatedly compromised. Strength does not flourish in spaces where energy is drained rather than restored. Choosing yourself means stepping away from anything that dims the light within, from anything that makes you forget your value, from anything that forces you to be less than what you were meant to be. It is the decision, every single day, to stand in your own power, to speak with your own voice, to walk your own path without apology. No one else can make the choice. No one else can decide that you are worthy of love, happiness, success, and fulfillment. That choice belongs to you alone. And when it is made, when the decision to embrace self-love is fully realized, everything changes. The way you carry yourself shifts. The way you allow others to treat you transforms. The way you move through the world becomes stronger, more assured, more purposeful. Life responds to those who choose themselves. Doors open where they once seemed locked. Opportunities appear where none existed before. Confidence grows, energy returns, and a deep sense of peace settles in, a peace that comes from knowing that no matter what happens, self-worth is not up for debate. The world may challenge it, may test it, may try to shake it, but those who have truly chosen themselves will never again be convinced that they are anything less than enough. Letting go is an act of strength. It is not a sign of weakness, nor is it an admission of failure. It is the realization that holding on to what no longer serves, nurtures, or aligns with growth only creates unnecessary weight. There is power in releasing what is no longer meant to stay. It is the courage to loosen the grip on things that drain energy, to walk away from situations that no longer bring joy, and to trust that something better is waiting beyond the fear of loss. Fear often disguises itself as attachment. It whispers that without this job, this relationship, this identity, there is nothing left. It convinces the mind that letting go is too risky, that change is too uncertain, that comfort, no matter how painful, is still better than the unknown. But comfort is not always a sign of alignment. Sometimes it is simply a familiar cage. Freedom comes from trusting that release is not an end, but an end. Growth requires space. New opportunities cannot arrive while hands are still clenched around old ones. The past cannot be rewritten, and no amount of holding on will change what has already unfolded. But the future is still open, still unwritten, still full of possibilities. Letting go does not mean forgetting, nor does it mean dismissing the importance of what once was. It means making peace with it, learning from it, and choosing not to be bound by it. The heart knows when something is no longer meant to stay. It feels the heaviness, the exhaustion, the quiet realization that something is out of alignment. Ignoring that truth only prolongs the inevitable. Strength is found in listening to that inner voice, in trusting that no loss is truly a loss if it makes room for something greater. It is an act of self-respect to release what is no longer meant to be carried. Every ending carries the seed of a new beginning. Doors close so that new ones can open. What is meant to be will never require force, and what is truly aligned will never demand the sacrifice of inner peace. Letting go is an act of trust, a decision to step forward with open hands, ready to receive whatever life has in store. The unknown is not to be feared, it is to be embraced, for within it lies the greatest possibilities of all. True strength is found in rising again. Life will not always be kind, fair, or predictable. There will be moments of failure, heartbreak, and disappointment. Plans will fall apart, dreams will seem unreachable, and the weight of setbacks may feel unbearable. But strength is not measured by how many times life knocks you down, it is measured by how many times you rise despite it all. Each fall is an opportunity, each challenge a test, each hardship a chance to prove that resilience is stronger than circumstance. Defeat is not final unless it is accepted. The difference between those who succeed and those who remain stuck is not the absence of failure, but the refusal to let failure define the future. Every great achievement has been built on a foundation of perseverance. Every story of triumph carries moments of doubt, loss, and struggle. But those who rise again understand that failure is not the end, it is simply a lesson, a redirection, a necessary step toward growth. The strongest people are not those who have never fallen, they are those who have refused to stay down. Pain has a purpose. It teaches, it strengthens, it reveals. It strips away illusions and forces the discovery of inner power. Every time a challenge is overcome, a new layer of resilience is built. The things that once seemed impossible become stepping stones to something greater. Struggle is not a punishment, it is preparation. It is shaping, refining, and strengthening for what is yet to come. Rising again is not just about persistence, it is about transformation. There is no shame in falling. There is no weakness in struggling. What matters is what happens next. Rising again is a choice, a decision to believe that there is still more ahead, that setbacks are not signs to stop but signals to push forward. The strength is not in avoiding failure, but in refusing to be broken by it. No matter how many times life says no, rising again is the way to say, I am not done yet. Every fall is a chance to come back stronger. Every struggle is a moment to rebuild with greater wisdom, resilience, and courage. The past does not define the future, and setbacks do not determine the final outcome. Rising again is proof of an unbreakable spirit, a heart that refuses to give up, and a mind that knows that no matter what happens, there is always another chance to begin again.